All right, let's see. I'm over here. Okay. All right. As you see, we were changing out the background. New year, new background. Okay. We got a good show planned for you. Some good conversation today. Some narratives have been pushed. The haters is hating, and it's not just about Shedeur. Uh, some things came out today that make Colorado and the Big 12 GM. Remember the Big 12 GM that said that Colorado didn't have any money or something like that? Well, apparently that's not the case. And I'm opinion that it comes out that the athletic department, and everybody knows in the athletic departments in college that football makes the most money. Colorado made $161 million for its 15 programs, with football leading the way. That's the prime effect. And people are asking, so I thought y'all said they was broke. I thought y'all said they didn't have no money, right? And of course, there are going to be people that try to say, well, this is what they brought in, and there's a negative. I'm like, well, if you didn't have him, how negative would it be? Because if he never came to Colorado, last I checked, y'all had problems filling up the stands. And honestly, maybe somebody need to take a look at the books to see where the money going. They try to say Coach Prime bankrupt them. They try to say they're not making any money. Remember, the portal just closed. So after the portal closed, Colorado made $161 million in the athletic department, with the football team leading the way. TV revenues, third season sold out in a row, sponsors, etc. Right? I don't even know about the NIL, but they got everything else. They survived without NIL. And this is supposed to be the year they do the whole revenue sharing, right? So they have to share this pot with the other programs, even though the football team brought this in, but they trying to push Coach Prime out. And what did they say? It would just be best if he quit. You know why they said that? Because they'd be out their goddamn mind to fire this man, knowing they didn't make this kind of money before. How you gonna fire a winner? But isn't that what we're seeing on a larger, broader scale? Black leadership being pushed out, mediocrity being secured. So why would it not be happening in academia and at Colorado? It very well could be what their agenda is with Coach Prime, because we've never known Colorado to act super weird like this. It's best that he quit. Why the hell would you want somebody to quit that generated $161 million and who don't have a problem sharing it? But honestly, the rest of them can't hold up their weight like that. And you ran off the recruits, then you put out y'all were broke. Now that the portal's closed, you want to talk about how much money they made. Maybe that is what's happening at Colorado. Maybe they on that anti-black sentiment as well. Maybe they had too many black people coming to the school, because we heard that enrollment was up with black and brown people. So are they pushing back? Because it's ignorant for the Big 12 commissioner or GM. Let me get the right person. The Big 12 GM to be reckless before high school recruits sign, so they could run off. And that's what they did, because we already had some on board early. They decommitted. And I know what everybody thinking, that's a lawsuit. Sure is. Sure is. Sure is. And yet these people don't fear anything. So why don't we broaden the lens about what's happening at Colorado and not just think, oh, they hate Coach Prime like everybody else. Coach Prime did nothing. He was a scapegoat in the NFL. Is it possible he's being a scapegoat at Colorado? Is it possible he's being sabotaged at Colorado, just like Shedeur is being sabotaged in Cleveland and Shiloh sabotaged in Tampa? Because the Sanders have a football dynasty. Football is the family business, and they pretty damn good at it. And Shiloh and Shedeur have transcended football. This is their second time walking in a premium high-end luxury brand in Fashion Week abroad. Not New York, Paris. That's huge. Anybody can't get that. They have transcended football. And it seems to me that when Shedeur was in the draft and Shiloh got snubbed, some people thought we don't want them to use our platform to make them. They were already made. In fact, that's why they were pushed away, because they didn't need the platform. They're bigger than the platform. And a repeat at Fashion Week proves it. So understand, next week before Fashion Week, somebody going to be meddling that they don't get it. But those videos have gone viral. Their interviews, Shiloh's a natural. I don't even need to see Shiloh in football. Let me just be honest. He's a natural. He should be at the Met Gala interviewing people. He should be at the Met Gala himself. In fact, I expect to see Shedeur and Shiloh at the Met Gala. Look at all the attention, notoriety, people looking at Amiri's show. That's why they were in there. And since Amiri had them in their show in Louis Vuitton before, and the NFL has Shedeur at their celebrity football game in New Orleans at the Super Bowl weekend, that tells you the NFL knew the kind of influence and power the Sanders had. So they thought they would mock them. All three totally ignored Shiloh in the draft. Humiliated. Tried to humiliate Shedeur, but he didn't understand what was going on, so it didn't work. See, you can't humiliate somebody if they don't understand what it is you're trying to do. The humiliation only works if they understand exactly what it is you're trying to humiliate them about. But since he couldn't hear, he wasn't humiliated. Just like he said, I didn't get robbed. My house got robbed. They didn't get my jewelry. When I saw that photo with him holding his chain, I thought that was an old photo. It wasn't. It wasn't at all. It was last week. So he letting you know. That don't mean they ain't going to try it again because Mariah Carey got hit twice. But you see what I'm saying? You try to humiliate him in the draft, but he couldn't hear, so he wasn't humiliated. Most people didn't even know what the hell was going on. But then when the truth came out, the only thing that happened is you got exposed. They tried to tear him down in Cleveland. The only thing that happened is the Browns got exposed. For what? Abusing Shedeur Sanders. And then when Baker Mayfield came out, because they poked the bear, everybody's talking about it. Not just us. The national media is trashing Stefanski. And I said it yesterday. That's huge. Pat McAfee at ESPN, of all places, where the NFL owns 10%, that's huge. It's talking about how Stefanski tried to get Nick Chubb killed on the field. Donald Muhammad sent it to me. I can't play it, write it, but I reposted it on my X. Thank you, Donald. I said, oh, ESPN is calling out Stefanski. That explains the look on his face when I saw him in Atlanta, because he getting ready for a press conference, or maybe he had it already and nobody cares. People are talking more about the Sanders at Fashion Week in Colorado with their multiple flavors of talent that they have over there. Because it's my favorite time of year at Colorado. Coach Swayze is doing his thing, getting these guys together, a bunch of new faces, and people aren't scared. They aren't sad. They aren't tuning out. They tuning in. They have a feeling. Some people think Coach Prime can do what Cignetti just did at Indiana. But I'll warn you, Indiana's roster apparently have some very grown NFL age men on it, starting at 22 all the way to 25, 26. And they pointing out this one guy. They're like, I know this man is 30. I know that's an NFL player. Whoever number 8 is for Indiana, somebody got to look up his age. That was going around. Might be a little cheating happening here, because we know the cheat code was what? The check down king. And now we understand why they went 16-0 in college, because they have a roster of 25-year-olds, grown men playing college students. It makes sense now. Again, you got to cheat. It's a whole lot of cheating and fraud happening here in the competitive sport of football. But let's see if people talk about it. Because one thing that we realized in the national championship is that Mendoza is a check down king. And what came out the next day is his little brother was over there and the transfer portal left and went to Georgia. Why he didn't stay at Indiana? Is it all about the money? Or maybe he not like that? People are saying Mendoza is going to be a bust because he's just a check down king. Dylan is a check down king. Tyler Shaw is a check down king, and they had to prop him up so he could win some games. I looked at the games that were tougher. They gave them to Spencer Rattler, the majority of them. They let Tyler Shaw play Baker Mayfield, and he struggled. But of course, he beat the Carolina Panthers because they cheated. They beat the Jets. Woohoo. They trying to fire the Jets coach. Duh. Did they play the Dolphins? They probably beat them too. But they didn't let Spencer Rattler play those people. Did they beat the Falcons? I don't think so. Anybody that's competition, he struggled because he's a check down king. We saw the same struggle in college football. So they trying to use a cheat code to push black quarterbacks out the way. And it results in failure. So imagine you dumbing down the sport and failing at the same time and exposing yourself with illegalities at the same time. So we need to broaden that lens where Coach Prime is concerned and wonder if the anti-blackness is the problem over there too. It might be. Let me know your thoughts in the comments because I find it very, very convenient that the portal just closed, on the 16th? And now they want to talk about how much money they made when they gave the impression through two different posts, one from CU and one from the Big 12 GM. Well, with all the resources they have at Georgia and Alabama, no point in you coming to Colorado and ran people right off. Now, if I'm the people that ran off and I turn around and I see that and things don't go well for me or I don't get to play, I got played. I got run off like they try to do Coach Prime. That's why they said he should just quit. So is anti-blackness the issue holding back the Colorado program from year one, game 3 or game 4 with Oregon? You think that's a coincidence that it started with Oregon? Think about it. Think about where we just saw Jordan Seaton, Dan Lanning, Oregon. Think about what Dan Lanning is tied to. Dylan, Stefanski. Think about the robbery. Think about the abuse. Think about the taunting. Think about the humiliation. Stefanski using Dan Lanning's dusty playbook that he used to suppress and derail the career of Ty Thompson, a 5-star, a black 5-star, who they convinced to stay at Oregon. And when it was time for Bo Nix to leave, they went and got Dylan. That kid is a tight end at 2, trying to make it to the league because he's not being accepted as a quarterback. Steve, if you give up on yourself, if you stay there waiting on them to do what's right, that will be you. And I'm not upset at that young man. I don't even know him, but I know he was young. I know he don't know the game he was playing like Jordan Seaton. See, let me tell you what Jordan Seaton is telling these people by running down to Atlanta to meet with Oregon. And nothing came of it but a photo op. Oh, we could use him. Just like Jerry Jeudy. Same thing. Same thing. So anti-blackness is something we have to consider when looking at Colorado. When Bucky just got back on the ground, he parked and had a boot on his car within an hour. School wasn't even in yet. I didn't see much of that last year, but I saw it year 1 when they didn't want them there. They made it clear they don't want Coach Prime there. They act like they brought in his replacement. People think that is his replacement. I was looking for the person that could be the problem. And I saw him talking to Coach Swayze with his hands in his pockets. I was like, they better keep an eye on that one. Because that's why his contract doesn't end until after the 2026 season. So Coach Prime had to survive Pat Schumer. And now he has to survive the defensive coordinator that he chased up and down the field. You tell me if you think it's a coincidence that as high school recruits had already and was about to go to signing day, they talk about Colorado don't have no money and that you might as well not come to Colorado. It got 16 schools in the Big 12. If you don't make it at Alabama and Georgia. Where did we get players from? Alabama. Where did we get players from? Georgia. I don't know if we got any from Alabama. We got players from Georgia. We might have got somebody from Alabama. But the point is, we did get players from Georgia. We got players from Notre Dame. We got players from Oklahoma. So that means it did work. It ran off some high school kids. But that just made spaces to have more experience coming into the transfer portal. And that's what happened. Brendan Marion said the portal might be closed, but we're not done. Just in case you don't know, nobody else can get into the portal until next January. But there's a lot of people in it. And they're going to be in it until they either give up or somebody sign them. And that could be until next year, which means they have to pay for a semester of their college. And maybe some people are taking that risk. So let me know your thoughts, how you feel about, is it potentially anti-blackness at Colorado like it is in the Browns and the Atlanta Falcons organization and the Jets too, but we don't really focus on them. But yeah, it's happening over there too. Let me know your thoughts about that. All right. So now that, people have moved on, time has passed. I found this picture and I was thinking, right? Since Baker Mayfield is giving us a look back in the look back machine, and we can go back 4 years and see what really was, and the truth is coming out about the I guess you could say how he was derailed, treated like garbage and pushed out, like he said, right? Something that has happened so many times since he has been to Cleveland. And when you think about all the black quarterbacks that have been through there at that time, that's exactly what happened to them. And that's what they want to do to Shedeur. Derail, injure, and push down, and push out. Bench, push out. Trade, cut, because that's what they did to Vince Young. Vince Young survived Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher finally got fired. It was disgusting. But the same was allowed to happen. The abuse was allowed for far too long. And Vince was a different person. He was young, came from a different background. But guess what? He wasn't a problem before he got to the Titans. And he wasn't a problem when he got back to Austin. In fact, he has a restaurant there. Married to the same woman he was dating when they won the championship. They have a daughter. Vince Young wasn't the problem. Vince Young was being discriminated against and didn't know how to deal with it, and not many people do. You can't fault him for that. Most people don't even know what the hell is going on. Most people internalize it and think it's something I did, and that's what they want you to do. Shedeur was being interviewed today by somebody with maybe about 280,000 followers that I didn't know, and people were wondering if he seemed standoffish. And a lot of people were, you must not be familiar with what happened from January 2025. The campaign started in college. You can go back to the Heisman, November 2024. The campaign against him started as soon as he hit number 1. And it just ended when Stefanski left. And he's supposed to be trying to heal from that. So a whole 12 months of being beaten on. And you shocked that somebody that he doesn't know, like myself, would just walk up to him and ask him questions and he don't have a whole lot to say. Really? That's called being traumatized. That's called being cautious. I don't know who the hell I'm talking to. I don't want to say nothing they could take and twist my words. Maybe I'm tired mentally and don't really want to do no interviews, but I don't mind being here. I'm having fun. So he kept deferring to Shiloh. You can't fault that man for that. That's like you trying to fault an abused child, physically abused, mentally abused, dehumanized. And suddenly you want to go to a birthday party and they not jolly. Well, okay, because their spirit is broken. They have to heal. Or they're cautious about who it is that they talk to because they don't know what you're going to do. Shedeur was in Cleveland and nobody did shit. It wasn't just Stefanski. It was Tommy Reese too. Why Andrew Berry couldn't stop it? Why the owner couldn't stop it? Why couldn't HR stop it? Nobody could stop the abuse. They want him to be negatively affected. That's why I personally want him to stay in London and work out for a while. And I said that under one of his stories, wherever he is, just not here. Because out of sight, out of mind, get you some privacy and unplug from it all just for 30 days and work out. You can post, but you got to give yourself time to heal or it will stay with you. The trauma will stay with you. This young man has been abused. Is he camera shy? No. He's no different than Shiloh, but they've been through different situations and you can see it. So encourage him where you see him. But it's true, for people asking those kind of questions, it identifies you that you haven't been paying attention to what this young man been for the last 12 months. The journey he been on. It was abusive. And it was intended to be abusive. And now they want to take their clown show. They have decided to take it to Atlanta. And what's the root of it all? Anti-blackness. That's it. No hemming and hawing. No trying to explain it away. No, I don't know what the hell is wrong with them. Anti-blackness. This channel's a little ahead of others. They'll catch up. Who remembers me asking y'all ready to boycott the Browns? And people like, no, not yet. We got there. Now people want to boycott the Super Bowl. Done. I cancel whatever app it is that's coming on. Paramount. I paid my last $12 for Sunday ticket. When we saw the last game. I'm not interested in whatever the hell else they got going on. In terms of playing football, they put out their little MVP list. Everybody was white. Everybody. Shout out to Gail who sent it to me. She said, you were right, sis. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be. But people need to know what's coming so you can know how to move accordingly. When I saw Shedeur, my thoughts were, wow, he doesn't seem, his normal self. And I had to remember what he'd been through. And I understand. So it might be good to decompress just a little bit because you have to heal from these types of things or it will forever change you. And the change that we're seeing is he's subdued. Maybe he don't even realize it. We don't always realize when our mannerisms and behavior change when something negatively affects us. Sometimes people have to ask us, are we okay? We don't even know we're not okay. Some people, when they traumatize, they stop breathing and they don't realize they're not even breathing. And somebody have to say, breathe. Just breathe. Things like that are innate. So I hope after this, he go work out and practice, but in the back of his mind, he probably know what's coming. And that's hard to deal with too. Because then you got Tony Grossi out here who doing the bidding of the franchise. Round 2. Shedeur should just be handed the starting job. First and foremost, Shedeur ain't handed a damn thing. Except for the wrong play sheet. Shedeur earned every damn thing. And he earned QB1 when he was in college. He earned QB1 after the Panthers game. He earned QB1 when they finished that little phony contest that they probably going to take to Atlanta. When it's a black quarterback, you got to keep proving yourself. Dylan didn't have to prove a damn thing. And when he was failing, Stefanski wanted him to keep failing because failing was the goal. And they know Shedeur is not a failure, but they wanted him to fail. And not just the people on the ground, but the people that decided Stefanski should be traded to Atlanta and get a raise for $15 million because he must have did something to impress who? But he feeling it because I saw him. And he probably is starting to realize something that we have talked about. He might be the fall guy. He might have got sent to the blackest city in Atlanta where they knew for sure that people wouldn't like him. They might know some things we don't know. And he might not never get that $15 million. Not saying it ain't going to happen. But I'm saying the move didn't make any sense. They knew the move would upset the fan base. That's why they got Matty Ice. And people can't stand him. And it probably wasn't even his idea. I hate to say it. I'm pretty sure that came from the owners. Because what was the last owner that was excited about Stefanski getting another job? The one that had just fired him. The owners are incestuously close. That includes Arthur Blank. Arthur Blank hired Matt Ryan to take the fall for hiring Kevin Stefanski. What Kevin Stefanski gonna take the fall for? So back in Cleveland, they gearing up for round 2. I'm waiting on the unexpected. That is God. They didn't expect Baker. Now the national media pouncing on Stefanski. That's huge. Now they talking about Nick Chubb. I'm going to have to go look at that because I don't know what the hell happened to Nick Chubb. I wasn't there at the time. So we done moved out the quarterback space to a running back. Then there's Odell Beckham Jr. Then there's the guy that said his coach wasn't talking to him. I don't know who it is. The point about the way Stefanski operated when he was in Cleveland is being discussed by the national media. And 10% of ESPN is owned by the NFL. You see what's going on here, right? But Shedeur is still being beat up on as well. So we already talked about Stefanski being a legal liability. And they basically traded the legal liability and absolved and moved it out for Cleveland so they could get back to the business of devaluing Shedeur and move Stefanski to Atlanta. And since he's a legal liability, we might need to get rid of you. So we hired Callahan and made him the offensive line coach. Because if you go down for something, Callahan gonna be the next head coach. See, they had already figured it out. They think they got everything figured down to the text. But what they didn't figure was the fan base would revolt. They thought they had it lit with Matt Ryan and saying Michael Penix Jr. gonna be the starter. But then they hired Stefanski and people saw straight through the rules and felt like they was being played and said, I'm out. I had there's a Falcons jacket. I have a Hawks jacket up here. I was like, I'm only putting that up there so people see me take it down. I'm not keeping it up there. And see, some people think it's not a big deal. It is to me. It is to me. I'm having it customized with the word Buster on it. So when you see it, that's what it's going to say. It could be with a Sharpie, but that's what it's going to say. Because there is nothing in me that makes me believe the Falcons going to backtrack and do what needs to be done. They knew what would happen. They just didn't know it would be this soon. And they thought they had it figured out. They knew there would be some pushback, but not this much. That's why the media, Ledbetter guy, came out. But then when I saw him reposting the Mary Cabot lady, I said, they working together. Can't listen to nothing they saying. So now that we looking back in the look back machine, thanks to Baker Mayfield, now they talking about looking at Shiloh and Shedeur at Colorado. Thinking about how good they were. And I'm wondering how long it'll be before Shiloh is vindicated, because Shedeur has been vindicated. But what Shedeur probably want to look at is what's going on with Baker Mayfield. He got out of there. And they devalued him. And he clawed his way all the way back. And even before he said anything, they already put out the statement. The Bucs are encouraged to get a quarterback from the draft to replace Baker Mayfield. So he had nothing to lose. He had nothing to lose. So looking back and seeing how good Shedeur and Shiloh were, and looking at the way they've been treated, and now we're looking at Baker Mayfield to see he was treated the same way, pushed out like garbage. This was the same thing for Shiloh and Shedeur. And look at how they're moving on him now. First, get a quarterback out the draft to replace him. The man just took him to the playoffs. He was just NFC South Offensive Player of the Week, week 17. They want to replace the Offensive Player of the Week, week 17. Shedeur Sanders was Rookie of the Week, week 14. So if they want to replace Baker, they want to replace Shedeur. And that's where Tony Grossi comes in. With that, it shouldn't just be handed to Shedeur. If I'm Shedeur and I hear that, and I'm not Shedeur, I'm traumatized already. That's why I say just stay over there. Just stay over there and heal from what happened before. And if God opened that door for you to go back to Cleveland, He's going to take care of you. But one thing about it, He going to never give you nothing that you can't bear. Just stay over there and heal first. Stay somewhere and heal first. But it's better to be out the country. People don't understand the difference that geography makes, the difference that out of sight, out of mind makes. If I don't have my phone and I'm in the state, I'm not in the States, I'm not hearing none of this. But if I touch down in the States and I turn through on my social media and I'm seeing they want me to go back around and try to prove myself again, and I did, it's gonna break me. It could. Not saying it will, but it could. It's not right. It's unfair. They haven't let up. That's my point. They haven't let up with Baker. Now they sending Zach Robinson over there to push Baker out. And Baker just took these people to the playoffs. Imagine being Baker Mayfield and you took the Browns to the playoff and they get you injured to push you out, to bench you. And then you ask to leave and suddenly you the problem. You speak up for yourself after you get to Tampa and you get them to the playoffs and they trying to push you out again. It made sense for him to speak out. He might as well. They not going to stop. That's what Shedeur has to understand. Shedeur going to need some divine intervention. He going to need it for it all to blow up. I'm serious. Patterns don't lie. These people are straight evil. He's going to have to sacrifice himself. If God opened the door and say, I want you to go here, and he say, no, I want to stay here, he going to be like Lamar. Because the Ravens tried to fire Harbaugh and Lamar kept Harbaugh. And what happened? He derailed his career. He could have been to the Super Bowl twice. They cheated him every time he got close, including the last game against the Steelers. And he realized it. Shedeur already knows. So this offseason, Shedeur going to have to mentally get himself together and heal before he come back to the bullshit, because it's going to be right there waiting on you. And all you got to do is look at Baker, look at Lamar. Don't save nobody's job thinking you being polite. Like they immediately tried to do what? They immediately tried to say what Shedeur said. He was fine with Stefanski. He learned a lot from him. Be careful with your words. That's why he liked that on the interviews. Be careful with your words. You don't want to give nobody nothing to use against you. And the people that weren't paying attention don't understand it. And hopefully other people explain it to them. I'm not going toe to toe. Be careful with your words. If they open the door and say, we want to trade you, don't fight it. Because you might be on the bench, but at least you'll have a peace of mind. Because if you think for 5 seconds, they're going to come to you and say, we sorry? Because just look at Atlanta from now to the first preseason game when Stefanski's concerned. They not going to save face. They not going to even admit they give a damn that people want him gone. They that bad. See, you got to know who you're dealing with. You can't go to war if you don't know the enemy. And best believe that is your enemy. And when your employer is your enemy, life can get really tough. Now, I'm not telling none of these guys they need to just get up and quit tomorrow. But what I am saying is y'all need to start making plans. You need to start making plans to do it for yourself. Do it for the next generation. You ain't got to quit today. If you get paid $10 million, go on get that money. But you need to be making plans to walk out the door. And it'll be easier for you to deal with if you know you on the way out. You can make it through this year. But if you know you don't have nothing else and you don't want to let this go, it's going to be rough for you. It's going to be mentally hard on you, and your family going to suffer. You're going to be hard to be around because you're going to be fighting with yourself internally. Make plans for your own mental health. See, people don't understand how mentally taxing racism is. They were actually working to classify racism as a health issue because it takes a toll, not just up here, on your immune system, the physicality. That's why these guys that think I can put up with this for the money. Look at the guy who is suffering with the wheelchair and the wife telling his story. Then I watched the other way on TikToks. Her husband, he can't play because both of his legs were somehow in the cast or something. I don't know. Look at Michael Penix Jr. Look at Travis Hunter. How many more times you go through that? Just know each time you do, the insurance company is paying your salary. And I think if I found out that I was purposely being injured so they could collect a check, I'm pretty sure I'd be upset and wouldn't want to work there no more. That's just me. And they kidding themselves, including Travis, if he don't know that that's what the hell happened. And you could say it was a non-contact injury. But when they keep hitting on you, eventually that's what's going to happen. And they've been doing this long enough that they know. They know. So people just still going to keep on talking about Stefanski, and seemingly the national media is a part of it, which means Stefanski is under fire, whether he knows it or not. And that explains why Callahan is over there. So we'll come back in a couple of years and look back in the Wayback Machine and see where Shiloh and Shedeur are. But you can kind of look and see where Terrell Owens' son is. His dad was a legend. I don't know where Brendan Rice is. Maybe he landed in the NFL after they cut him, after they devalued him in the draft. When you black, it don't matter if you have family. They cut Ryan Clark's son, but then they found a space on the practice squad with the Steelers. Mike Tomlin gone now. Mike Tomlin told some of his players to get the hell on out of here. As soon as free agency come, bounce. That's how you know something coming. That's how you know something is coming. And now they have to go find a safe team to be on. There is no safe place for black quarterbacks. Maybe there's a safe place for black offensive tackles. Seem like to me, you could be a black offensive tackle if you sell out your black quarterback. Otherwise, they have no use for you. And people going to talk about you and not the dirt divers. And they make probably 4-5 times more than you anyway. You would likely devalue coming on in the door. So it's a lot that they have to give up. So when we look in the Wayback Machine with these two, Shiloh and Shedeur, we see they were good. And when we look at the people in their situations, the people that went before them, Baker Mayfield for Shedeur, Ryan Clark's son, Terrell Owens' son, Brendan Rice, that's for Shiloh. Shiloh wasn't the only one snubbed. But I do think it is interesting the entire family was snubbed and scapegoated and set up. The rest of them just got cut. They didn't get baited into nothing. These people got baited in because they were good. They got lured. They got scapegoated because they're good, because they're cultural icons. And while they're trying to gravitate towards black people, not these black people, unsuspecting black people or black people, we want to sell y'all stuff. We don't want y'all to have no influence. This is why Stefanski in Atlanta. While you're down here, We probably gonna set you up too. But while you're here, let's see if you can run off the black people, because we might want to move and have the star. It's a real estate deal. We own the land, we own the building, and we lease it out to other people and make money off the leases. That's what the star is. That's how Jerry Jones went from 7 billion to 14 billion. That's what they all want. They all chomping at the bit to get it. Philadelphia's getting a new stadium. Let's see what they have plans. I'm pretty sure it's not just a stadium. I'd be shocked if it was just a stadium. But they deserve one. They just won a Super Bowl, right? What the hell has Cleveland done other than take on Deshaun Watson's $230 million contract? Nothing. Just like what has Stefanski done other than abuse black quarterbacks and apparently black running back? Nothing. Quid pro quo, which is also illegal. A lot of criminalities here. A lot of criminal acts. All right, so I want to look at Cam Newton because he has some things to say about Stefanski. And I wanted to take a listen, and I'm listening to this with y'all because I kept passing it, and I've been super busy today, but I heard a bleep of it, and it seemed like he was talking about Stefanski and what he didn't do where development was concerned. So let's see if we could take a listen to this together, and we can try to ascertain what the hell, what's happening. And I know Cam is actually giving advice and giving good wisdom here. That's why I wanted to listen. One thing about it, Cam knows football, and he's a quarterback, so he knows what was happening. So I just kind of want to see what he was saying. Let's see. Oh, and I got a whiff of somebody talking about how much Baker Mayfield is loved in Oklahoma, how much he's loved in Tampa, how much he's loved in Texas. So Zach Robinson gonna have his work cut out for him, because it sounds like Tampa loves Baker Mayfield. They recognize that he took them to the playoffs, and now they want to get somebody out the draft, and you have a winning quarterback. Interesting.
Be the best version of themselves. We seen what you did with Shedeur. And it was unacceptable.
Yeah.
See, my thing about Kevin Stefanski is this.
Yeah.
Who has gotten better from the player's perspective that you can hang your hat on? Bro, players from what we've seen don't get better with Kevin Stefanski. You're inheriting something that's already great and ready to rock and roll. My question and issue is, how are you going to make them be the best version of themselves? We seen what you did with Shedeur. And it was unacceptable.
Yeah.
See, my thing about Kevin Stefanski is this.
Yeah.
Who has gotten better from the player's perspective that you can hang your hat on? Bro, players from what we've seen don't get better with Kevin Stefanski. You're inheriting something that's already great and
saying, what the hell has he done? That's exactly what we're saying. He's like, what the hell has he done? I mean, he has not developed anybody. And what he did to Shedeur is acceptable. I will remind you, while this is Cam Newton's own show, I do believe Cam Newton is popular as hell and has a contract with ESPN, and so does Pat McAfee. So do you see this narrative that's being pushed? Now, I want you to understand something. This is not just any little podcast. This is Cam Newton that sits at the desk on First Take, I do believe. This is Cam Newton on one of the flagship shows on ESPN. Pat McAfee, also a flagship type show, not just any little podcast, talking about Stefanski. So this is exactly what I mean by the national media. With NFL owning 10%, is pushing this narrative. And when you look at this narrative being pushed, and you look at where they sent Stefanski in the backlash, I think I understand the look on his face. I think I'm being set up. And just like they typically lure in the black players for the money, but they set him up. They lured him in with the $15 million. And sure, you can bring Tommy Rees, because we're going to kick all y'all out, and Callahan going to be the next head coach. And this teaches Callahan, you might want to let that shit go because they're going to get rid of you too. Because you ain't going to make it down here in Atlanta either. Tell me I'm wrong. Now that you see how Pat McAfee and Cam, both ESPN flagship shows, this is just a small example of the narrative against Kevin Stefanski by the national media. This is just a small example. I can't play McAfee's because it was on his show, was the Pat McAfee show was on ESPN. It wasn't his individual podcast. Like Cam still got his separate podcast. Good for Cam. Don't roll your stuff up into theirs. Because then if something happened, then you got to go back to your own and you don't have nothing to go back to because it now belongs to them. It's like they bought Pat McAfee's show and say, hey, just bring your podcast over here. So if they fire him, he's going to have to go back to his podcast and dissolve that. So shout out to Cam for keeping the independence. But understand this. The narrative is the same. I saw another show, Get Up, with Ryan Clark. They was talking about the same thing. Is Get Up on Fox or are they on ESPN? Whatever, they on a national network. And what did I say about these national platforms when they start parroting the same narrative? It is an agenda. And when you think about the revolting that is happening in Atlanta, and they knew, so that's why they got Matty Ice and tried to lie about Michael Penix Jr. They knew it was going to be a problem. They didn't know it was going to be this much of a problem. Just like they didn't know Shedeur had 20 million fans, but Atlanta did. But you know what Atlanta thought? Remember what the white guy said? Oh, I don't care about what happened to Shedeur. He ain't my quarterback. That's what they were banking on. It ain't working. Just like the Browns media got irritated with the Shedeurians, the Shedeur Sanders fans, the Shedeurians. The Manzellians, the Baker Bros. See how they take everybody and separate them? They don't want people coming in to hold the Browns accountable. They like the toxicity because they feel like they in control. Because why? Because the Browns feed them and they feed their fans. And they fans said, to hell with all this. We see Shedeur is good and we not having no parts of this. That's what they did not expect. Atlanta misjudged their fans by thinking to hell with Shedeur, even though their fans are black. So y'all crazy. That means they really think we don't stick together. They were trying to divide and conquer. They're hoping we didn't give a damn about Shedeur. Are you out your goddamn mind? Do you not know his daddy built this city? Apparently they either forgot or chose to willfully ignore Coach Prime's legacy, even though they made him a scapegoat because they know he's the legend. See, that's the irony of it. You pushing them out because they cultural icons. Whose culture? And you thought in Atlanta you was going to separate black people from Deion Sanders and Shiloh Sanders and Shedeur Sanders. In fact, people said, why the hell hasn't Atlanta given Shiloh a tryout? Randy Moss' son got a tryout for Minnesota. Yep. Ryan Clark's son on the practice squad in Pittsburgh. Uh-huh. You see? Shiloh got a tryout with the 49ers. I knew that was bogus. You see how they keep miscalculating? You see how they keep misjudging? That's how they're gonna get busted. I'm just waiting. So you'd have miscalculated 3 times. Or maybe it's 4. You assumed in the draft, if you made Coach Prime a scapegoat and depressed all of his players, that people wouldn't want to go to Colorado, but he sold out year 3 in the stands. And then he already had high school recruits clamoring at the bit, and you had to cheat him by saying, ain't no point in coming to Colorado because they got more resources at Georgia and Alabama. And we still got the portal. They lost 32 and now 37. And Coach Brendan Marion said, it ain't over yet. He got to watch himself to make sure they don't use him like they doing Andrew Berry. Because he married to a white woman. Or a non-black woman, however you want to say it. Y'all don't underestimate that. Understand that means something to them. That means you're willing to depart from your people. and they will exploit that. So I'm not being crude. I'm telling you, he got to watch himself. The moment I saw the outgoing AD sitting next to him at a basketball game, I have never seen that at Colorado. I have never seen that. But I knew they were being shady. And I said it multiple times. It was kind of savage. It was a little shady to give Livingston that contract, make him the highest paid defensive coordinator for what? That should have went to the players and they could have, they should have paid them NIL. What'd he do? Apparently nothing. And now they got to hold their breath till he leave. Because he already showed you he going to take it down. Coach Prime was chasing him up the side. That's huge. And he's still there. That's huge. And I saw him talking to Coach Swayze, and I saw his hands in his pocket. You can't underestimate none of these people and their evil and their collaboration between the NFL, the Browns, the Falcons, and Colorado. When Bill Belichick said he didn't want none of his players to go to the Patriots, must be something he knew. He even blocked the Patriots from recruiting. I ain't saying Coach Prime need to block nobody, but if Jordan Seaton was actually in Colorado, they probably would have drafted him first to whatever team and whatever division that the Browns play. But then they would have said to themselves, ain't no point in doing that and paying him all that money because we ain't let Shedeur play no way. Except for when we have to at the end. If somebody get hurt. Because that's how arrogant they are. That's how short-sighted they are. So Cam is basically echoing the sentiment that's running through the national media that Stefanski is a bad coach. That Baker Mayfield was right. And it's not just Baker Mayfield. Now it's Nick Chubb. I just don't understand why he was sad to leave Cleveland. I'm hoping it's because he had a nice house. Because he was sad to leave Cleveland. And I didn't know why. And now I really don't. I hope I never hear Shedeur say he's sad to leave Cleveland because I'm going to wonder why. Whatever it is, I hope you can take it with you. So I don't know why Nick Chubb was sad to leave Cleveland, but he was. I don't know if he was sad that he was being devalued. I don't know what they traded him for. But from what Pat McAfee's saying, Stefanski tried to kill the man. Where's Quinshon Judkins? Injured. Did you see how they were hitting on Quinshon Judkins? They were trying to injure him. And the run block was non-existent. So, let me see what y'all saying. So, yeah, everybody going back in the look back machine. So, when we get a few years down the road and we're going to look back at the draft from 25, look back at Colorado, how they treating Coach Prime. Look back at Shiloh. Look back at Shedeur. You know how shows go off? And they're like, will Shiloh ever go back to the NFL? Or sometimes they say, Shiloh Sanders found a lane that was unexpected and is doing well. You know how they always do that? Then they'll say, Shedeur Sanders went to go on and be MVP just like the Minnesota Vikings AI said after the NFL imploded and fans stopped going to the games. You know how the black shows be going off and to the cast. Write your best line for what the future will be for Shedeur and for Shiloh. Shiloh Sanders went on. Shiloh Sanders left the NFL and went on to become a mogul in content creation. Or Shedeur Sanders went on. Shedeur Sanders stayed in the NFL and became the owner of a team. Coach Prime Deion Sanders left Colorado and went on to start his own league, the Black League. Yeah, something like that. Bucky Sanders went, Deion, what's his name? Osakin went on to start his own media empire, like 50 Cent, something like that. So let me know the best credit line for the future of Shiloh Shedeur and Bucky and Coach Prime, because football is the family business. So life beyond football or life beyond what they're currently doing. Y'all know what the black movies be doing at the end. Leaving you on a good note. So let me know on a good note. So we'll look back in the look back machine in a few years and see what happened. But you can look at the people that has already been before them. When God said, I will go before you and make the crooked places straight, Baker Mayfield. That's for Shedeur to look at. That's not necessarily for him to get up and leave, but just know it could go that way. And if it does, then maybe it's something else God wants you to do while you're here. Maybe build something. Maybe start the Black League. Something. Because it's not in vain. And people who went before you is how God makes the crooked places straight. So you can learn and grow from them. And I've heard Shedeur say, I can learn from anybody. And that's what makes him so special, because everybody can't. Some people just rebellious. Some people just stubborn. Some people only listen to their own thoughts. I was going to say somebody's name, but he's not in football, but Mr. West. That's what I was going to say. I was like, something like that. It's a lot of people like that, believe it or not. And they're hard to work with. Hey, how you doing, Kia Life? How you doing? How you doing? So make sure y'all put y'all best outgoing line at the end of the Black movie for Shiloh, Shedeur, Coach Prime, and Bucky from where they are now to where they're going to land. I think that's cute. Just something positive to say. I might put it to music and read it. You know, we got to find a way to keep it light. It said the flyest show on the planet. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ramon. It said like, hype, and subscribe. Yes, please. It's 215 of us. Hit the like button, please. Hey there, everybody. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, Tina, welcome back. Thank you, Ace. How you doing? Dog pound in the house. Hey, Selmo. How you doing? How you doing? Welcome back. Hey, Peter. How you doing? Hey, Priscilla. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, Amber. Hey, Kay. Welcome. Say it again in my Corey Holcomb voice. It said this show, 2 words, 6 cents. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that, B. Thomas. Welcome back. Welcome back. It said buy Big 12 GM. Oh, that's right. They were like, you can't fire Coach Prime now. That's why they was hoping he quit. See, they already been talking. I wasn't kidding. They was trying to push him out. And they still are. And that contract, that's why I say watch that one. And every time you see him on camera, I want you to look at his body language. When I saw him talking to Swayze with his hands in his pocket, going through the motions. Let's just see. Let's see. I mean, I don't care about people hashing stuff out and hugging, because did we not see Pat Schumer hug Caden and proceeded to set him up in Juju 2 in front of, and put Staub in front of him, and where is Staub? Okay, you see? I'm not going to even say explain it, because you ought to know what the answer is. It said, last we checked, nobody was even thinking about Colorado. No, they weren't. I would love to see their numbers over the years. I would love to see their numbers over the years. I don't even think they got a good basketball team this year. I think they did at one point, but I don't think it was last year. It says, we know that GM on slick stuff, right? And now they want to put out the numbers. I'm like, oh, okay. So Colorado made all this money. You mean the Coach Prime effect made all this money, which is supposedly why you came to get him. But you didn't let him bring his own, was it coordinators? Or that's Tway, right? So what did you really want? Travis? And the money. But Travis, more so. That's why you know it wasn't about the money. Because as soon as Travis and it was gone, they were trying to kick Coach Prime out. They were like, we won't even give a damn about the money. That's why I'm telling y'all, the money is what they use to exploit our people. They don't care about the money because they can get some more. I don't know if it's a stash somewhere and they just go peel some off like cheese. They don't care about the money. They just don't want you with it. They just going to make sure to give it to somebody else. Anytime you willing to tear down a 5-star QB because he's black and prop up one that didn't have no NFL aspirations because you want to use him against the quarterback he was behind in college out of straight revenge. That's what is happening. That's what it is. No other way to say it. And I hope don't nobody be shocked if it gets to what I said it was. Don't be surprised. Because some people will be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Okay. I don't know why not. It don't even make sense. Just like Dylan didn't make sense. Dylan was for a purpose, to block Shedeur. That's how I believe that whole we changed our mind because we have Deshaun. That was premeditated because you've been having Deshaun since 2022. And you've been over there keeping him off the field, essentially. And an insurance company paying his money. I wonder how many times that has happened. How many years? So they can get off of that $230 million debt. And they had that plan. You think it's coincidence Baker got hurt? You think it's coincidence that Sean got hurt? You think it's coincidence that they stepped on and try to tear off Shedeur nails so he can get hurt? Not for the insurance money, so he can't finish the last 2 games. They knew they were going to win the last 2 games because they didn't want to get what? They didn't want to get the high draft picks because they didn't want to explain to their fans why they didn't get a quarterback. So they knew they were going to win those games because Stefanski needed to look halfway decent, even though it didn't work. So they wanted Dylan to play the last 2 games. That's how nasty they are. Well, I need y'all to win the last 2 games. You got to win more than 3 games. So, okay, how many did they win? The last 2. Was it 5? Was it 4? I don't even know. But I know they won the last 2, right? Or they won. Shedeur was only supposed to play 4 games. How many did he end up playing? 7. And what changed that? The fans? I mean, what else could it be? Because the fans stopped coming to the games, right? So that's what needs to happen in Atlanta. If that's what it was, and I do believe it was pressure, the pressure is why, well, we better let Shedeur play. And they thought Shedeur was going to play the toughest stretch of games in the dead of winter, just those 4. And nobody would have had a problem with it. But then they added on some more games, starting with the Ravens. And I said, well, I thought he was going to play that game anyway, because that's what they did, the DTR. I need to hear his story. And see, I've reached out to people, but I haven't heard back. And I don't know why that is, because y'all have enough to blow it all up. But it seems like they waiting on something. Like Deshaun. Well, I don't want to say nothing because, they might let me play. And then what? You just going to be quiet because they let you get out here and play a few snaps and kill your career? They done done enough anyway that you should even want to play for them. You should be going out there and enjoy that $230 million and the hell with these people. That should be the sentiment. And tell your damn story. You don't have nothing to lose, like Baker don't have nothing to lose, because they got to pay you $230 million anyway. And if they get rid of Shedeur, they ain't playing you. Because the only reason they playing you is because they want to block Shedeur. So you better hope Shedeur stay there so you can get in front of him. But that ain't going to work for you either, because the fans ain't going to like it. So what you want to do is follow Baker's lead and tell your story, because you don't have nothing to lose. In fact, you have leverage. Use it instead of being leveraged. Tell the damn story. Everybody want to know. Now, get 200. Tell us. Because it don't make no sense. It's expressly stated. It's documented. Nope, that's the one-time thing. Nobody else can get it. After 25 SA cases that you had to pay, and math says you got all your money back, and you were supposed to pay a $5 million fine, and you got a 5-year contract. So they gave you $46 million a year, and you essentially gave them $1 million every year, and you took home $45 million. Taxes, barring tax. You know what I'm saying? He got $46 million. And he had to pay $1 million each year for 5 years. That's their $5 million. So that was all a facade. All of it was a facade. And the only reason why they probably, and you know what? He probably got, I forgot, I didn't even think about it. Not an NDA, but he probably has a clause in there, and maybe it is NDA, that he can't even talk, like a gag order, that he probably can't even talk about it. And you know what's crazy? When they drew up that contract, this is how you know they wasn't worried about it happening again. See, it's the same thing with Tyrod Taylor. This is why I tell y'all, these people be doing the same stuff. They predictable. This is just narcissism fueled by racism. Racism is the foundation for it. Not wanting black people to have power and influence. So they out here trying to debo people. They did the same thing to Tyrod Taylor. Injured him to move him out the way. Baker Mayfield injured him to move him out the way. Deshaun injured him to move him out the way. Tried to move Shedeur out the way by peeling his fingernail off. I mean, he built for tough. Shedeur special. And I think that's why so many people, it's 20 million and growing. I think that's why so many people stand up for him, because they know it. This is a good kid y'all are trying to destroy because for whatever reason. Notice nobody talks about Coach Prime being the problem no more. So now that everybody owns Stefanski, standing up, and what he did to Shedeur could be done. Notice they didn't go back to the draft. So it tells you this narrative that these national channels are pushing has been discussed. Talk about Stefanski and what he did, but don't you mention the owners. You see? You think that's convenient? It is. It's intentional. Don't talk about us. They ain't gonna talk about Coach Prime no more. Talk about Stefanski. That's why he looked like that. He like, oh shit, I'm being played. Uh-huh. What did I say? That's risky. They still don't know what number 4 is. So you're going to have to look over your shoulder at every moment, because I'm just going to say it. If they didn't do that, and there's breadcrumbs out there, so they know something. If they did it and they realized that y'all told on them and where to find them at. That's not going to work. I'm like, that's not going to work. Ain't no way in the hell you can bring me to Atlanta if I quite have possibly hired some people from Atlanta to get Shedeur bags to piss him off. Just to be evil, like ripping off his nail. Mentally taxing, so he's unavailable. Like the guy in Atlanta that we saw in the video. Ain't no way you're going to ask me to do something criminal. And I'm going to get entangled with some criminals, even with a point person. And send me to that city and one of them is missing? The joke's on you. I'm like, because tell me I'm lying. Who would sign up for that? Again, somebody miscalculated. The people who they did it for, they underestimated them. They don't know them. What they don't know is, I think they'll blow it all up just to save themselves. Just the sheer org structure, the reporting structure for Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry independently, one-on-one with Haslam and not together, breeds corruption, breeds playing one against the other. And they went for it. What else was it going to do? Get a paycheck back? So they've been exploiting the both of them. Everybody knows the Barry gone next year. Everybody know it. And they're like, oh, he gone. Right. Why they didn't fire him? Because they didn't fire nothing but black GMs, and now they trying to, we messed up. We gotta look the part. Eric Bieniemy. Shout out to Aaron Glenn. He say he's gonna walk away from football because in a nice way, they're not gonna let him win. That's the polite way for me to say it. He has figured it out like Lamar has figured it out. A lot of people figuring it out. And it's not just they figuring it out. Mike Tomlin told one of his players, get the hell out of here. There's something coming. This is why I say, I ain't tell you to quit. I understand you make a lot of money. And if you know that you have plans to be elsewhere, you can not be bothered by what's happening because you have an end date in mind. And building your own, you winning. Because they don't expect you to do it and they think you can't. And that's why you need to do it. You need to do it for yourself, number one. You need to do it for these future players, number two. There's no way in the hell I could coach college football players and listen to them say, I want to go to declare for the draft. No, the hell you not. I can't imagine. That's not even anything to look at with joy. I said it was going to be 7 years. And people start saying, you still in the NFL? We already here. Now it's like, you declaring for the draft? Why would you do that? When Thomas Castellanos declared for the draft, people were like, oh, Lord. Why do you think they said that? Not because he's not a good quarterback. This ain't a good time. It's not a good time. That's why all the other black quarterbacks went back to school. I said it was going to be 7 years. Well, this must be year 1 of 7. This ain't going to change because they not like that. They evil, bruh. They straight evil. They willing to eat they own Baker Mayfield. And I said, I think they might be setting up Stefanski. And now that the national media is parroting, especially ESPN pushing, and they talking about what happened to Shedeur is unacceptable in Cleveland by Stefanski, but they not talking about the draft. That ain't gonna make me go support them though. Because don't be using us. You go get somebody else. See, they don't care about disrupting black people. They could have sent him to Buffalo. Send him up there with that. But they don't care about the black fans. So just send them to Atlanta. Yeah, we know they're going to be upset, but who cares? Maybe you'll get a new stadium out of it. And that's probably what's going to happen. That's probably what's going to happen. Tell me I'm wrong. But I think they playing him. I told y'all somebody going to get arrested. It said Rick's not in charge anymore. Facts, we aware. It said Prime got to win some games this season. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But understand this. Don't act like it's all fair game. Don't act like the path is how should I say? Don't act like it's no sabotage. Don't act like that. Because as long as you see Livingston, you better know it's some sabotage. But we learned last season with the right players, they can overcome it. Because Colorado beat, was it Iowa State? We weren't supposed to beat them. We were not supposed to beat them. I saw the looks on their faces. Remember the guy, Tawfiq Bayard? I have no idea why we let that kid go to Texas A&M. But, good for him. I have no idea why we let that kid go. But we better have a dog just like him. And I don't know who had a hand in that. But I hope it wasn't Livingston. Because that kid was a difference maker. That kid was, I think, one of the reasons why we beat Iowa State. So if they pushed him out, understand the sabotage at bay. Don't sit up here and talk about Colorado season like it ain't happening because you know Livingston is over there and you know what has transpired. You saw Coach Prime chase him up the field. If you ever had a coworker you had to chase around the office and they still work there together, y'all ain't friends. I don't care if y'all go to lunch every day. Somebody got some deep-seated resentment way down that could come out at any time. Somebody still has an agenda because he could have left. But he stayed, and I know they talked to him after that. So don't act like it's all good, because it ain't. Coach Prime just don't let on. It said, Priscilla said, hey, everybody. It said, I don't mean to get off topic, but the same thing happened to Shedeur is happening to Keon Coleman. It said the owner did the same thing, saying it was the GM who chose him. Yeah, I'm a fan of Keon Coleman. I've been paying attention to what's going on in Buffalo. I just been waiting for people to start talking about it to understand what is happening because my take on the topic, is they did something to him. I became familiar with Keon Coleman in the draft process. And I said, and I was making fun of myself because every time you heard me say Keon Coleman, you heard me say who his cousin was. And I can never remember his cousin's name, but he wear number 88 for Dallas. What's the dude wear number 88 for Dallas that had the girlfriend at the draft party and she took his phone and he took it right back? CeeDee Lamb. They are related. In fact, when I was traveling last year, I was traveling on 90 through Opelousas. And I remember thinking, oh, this is where Keon Coleman from. So just because I didn't talk about it don't mean I don't know. It's just I needed some information. I needed somebody to say something so I could figure out what's going on because my suspicions, because of his character, and his cousin, where they from, they did something to him. And look at what they did to Shedeur. Look at what they did to Caleb. Look at what they did to Bryce Young. Look at what they try to do to Travis Hunter. And it's Buffalo. If you know anything about the Buffalo franchise, the owners, how many black quarterbacks have they had in Buffalo? Tyrod Taylor? Anybody else? Tyrod Taylor and UT got the same, not Tyrod Taylor, the Buffalo Bills and the University of Texas got the same agenda this year, whether Sarkisian likes it or not. That is to make the quarterback the star, Josh Allen and the Manning kid. Everything and everybody gonna be pushed out the way. I asked when we were doing the season, why is Keon Coleman not playing? Because he's good. That's why he's not playing. Because they won't talk about him. They don't talk about nobody else on that team. What is their running back name? Is it Brandon Cook? What's the running back name? The running back what's the running back name for the Buffalo Bills? Anybody know? He's supposed to be a star, right? What's his name? That's my point. That's what happened to Keon Coleman. That has always been my suspicion. They started throwing to lesser people. Then they started blaming him so they can push him out, but not just trade him, because you could just trade him. You could just trade the kid, just like Shedeur. But I want to devalue you because I'm going to show you. You not the star around here. You don't run nothing. Just because we laughed at your jokes. They laugh at Jameis Winston too, but do they value him as an athlete, as a black man? No. No, because Stefanski devalued Jameis Winston. So you're seeing it happen to non-quarterback players. It happened to Odell Beckham Jr., but I don't know him. So understand this. If the quarterback is the star, like Tyler Shaw, Chris Olave is a star, right? Let's see if he's the star next year. He the star wide receiver. In fact, I'll already tell you. I was asking when I watched the Saints, where the hell is Alvin Kamara? He wasn't playing. I'm like, is he injured? And then running back 2 was injured. So they moved running back 1 and running back 2 out the way so that Tyler Shaw could get all the time. They moved Keon Coleman out the way because when Josh Allen throws those dimes and he catches it, we're going to talk about him. When I tell you these people evil, this is what I'm talking about. It's not just quarterbacks. They know they have elite talent and they trying to suppress it because we don't want to talk about y'all, the black people. We want to talk about the white quarterback. If Shedeur played in a national championship and had 8 negative rushing yards and no passing touchdowns, they would persecute him. He would not be in the first round at all. And neither should Mendoza. But since they want to move on with their foolishness, let them do it. We're just going to talk about it. But I'm not watching nothing. I'm done until Shedeur come back. And again, I have a feeling he might get traded and they don't know yet. Because they keep miscalculating. Let me see you miscalculate one time. That's all I need. That's all I need. One time. So the Bills are trying to push out Keon Coleman because they did something to him. And I suspect they try to suppress him because I was looking for him. It's for Josh Allen. All you had to do was look at who the quarterback is. So thank you for sharing that, Priscilla. It's okay. It's not necessarily off topic because we're talking about anti-blackness. So it actually fits. So thank you for sharing that. It said, remember Shiloh, Shedeur, and Bucky are not thirsty. Absolutely. Absolutely. And you can't use people that are not thirsty. You can't. But the question is, how do you get these white quarterbacks to act like they did something when they ain't do nothing? Like Brock Purdy. I'm like, I watched the number 2 defense in the country let Brock Purdy run around. And then he was out there doing all this. I'm like, you didn't even do nothing. It went to the playoffs. It was a straight bust. Now you know you ain't doing nothing. See, you have to get certain kind of people. You have to get certain kind of people who are willing to go along with the foolishness. You have to get certain kind of people who are willing to step on black people and be elevated because they're white. That's why they keep hiring the same coaches, because they're going to keep the system going. Push out the black people, lock out the black people. Stefanski 2.0s, they all going to end up being Stefanskis. The quarterback's going to end up being Stefanskis. Willing to accept being elevated when you mediocre and you know you didn't deserve it. Think about Dylan. Dylan wasn't better than Shedeur. You saw the look on Dylan's face at that Panthers game. There's no reason that Deshaun should have ever looked like that. That told me, see that look that Deshaun and Dylan had spoke volumes. Dylan knew Shedeur wasn't better than him. Knew Shedeur was better than him. He knew it. But he went along with it because it made him feel good to be put in front of a black guy. Tells you a lot about Dylan, doesn't it? That's why they got him. You have to be like them or you won't do it. Kirk Cousins came out and said, well, they lied to me. What is Kirk Cousins' nickname? Kirk Cousins. Who was he on the plane with when he signed with Atlanta? Quavo. He was telling it. See, it's not a whole lot of them telling it, is it? Baker, because look at how they did him, and he saw what they did to Shedeur, so he said, screw it, and told. He knew that would vindicate Shedeur. He didn't do it for Shedeur. He did it for himself. But he could have been like them and say, you know what, I ain't going to say nothing because then Shedeur going to get out there and people going to be on his side. But he didn't do that. He wrote my book. He going to have to do something for me not to think he's one, because I know before he spoke those words, he knew. He also knew that they coming for him again. And he just got back to the playoffs again, and they still coming for him. And he know that they sending Zach Robinson to come try to destroy him. See how they dispatched him? Remember, people were trying to get Tommy Rees into college, and I was like, that's the worst thing that could happen. And get the hell Pat Shum out of here and get Livingston out of here too. And don't do that no more. Because they don't need to clean that up or they're going to destroy that next. And that's all we got. That's the ceiling. College is the ceiling. And they mad. They mad. Again, they miscalculated. Oh, they don't. So college is it. They don't even want to leave college. How long before they start trying to cap off the NIL? They ain't got nothing to do with them, but they can't mind their business. So look for it. Look for it. It said, and also everyone in Georgia area, please be careful the winter storm coming. It's supposed to be catastrophic, dangerous, and record-breaking cold temperatures. Okay, Gail, thank you. Thank you. I heard that the governor declared a state of emergency, but ain't nothing happened yet. So we're going to see, because we were out there today, and I saw people in shorts and T-shirts, and it was 48. 48 in Atlanta is 58. My mom said, it's going to be 19. I said, okay, so it's going to be 29. We'll see. We'll see. I'm already prepared. My mom said in Texas, they done cleared out the grocery stores. I'm like, are y'all expecting some bad weather? She said, well, yeah. I said, oh, okay. So I guess it's across the South. I don't know. I'm not sure. The Southwest or the Southeast. That's a pretty bad storm. Prepare for the storm and get ready for Stefanski avalanche. Yep, that's coming too. That's coming too. Hey, Aya, welcome back. It said later for the check down, Charlie. Thank you, Ramon. Thank you so much. It said, I heard that Tom Brady is looking at Lamar Jackson instead of drafting Mendoza. I heard that too. And I can't imagine what that's supposed to be for other than to suppress Lamar, because, again, they stole Lamar's third MVP because he got to 3 faster than Tom Brady did. It took Lamar 6, 7, 8 years to get 3 MVPs. It took Tom Brady 11. So I don't know why he would do that. He didn't want Shedeur. Why would he want Lamar? I heard that, was it yesterday? I think we talked about it the day before. I heard it too, and I think it's strange. Stay tuned. It said it's not about their age. It's about their mental and physical maturity. Their age matters. If you're talking about Indiana, their age matters. If they 25 and they built like they 25 and they playing against 18 or 19-year-olds, people in college are 17, 18, 19. How old is Juju? Juju has no business playing a 25, 26-year-old. So it does matter. If he's skinny, he wouldn't be on the football team. Look at Juju, how big he's gotten. So you can imagine with years of weight training that number 8 might be a sizable person. Because he sure looked like he 30. I'm like, I know people can look old, but people looked up the age of Indiana's roster and it's 22, 25. That man is using a cheat code, and I think he cheating. Check down King and grown NFL age men against college students. That's not right. It said quitters never win and winners never quit. Facts. ATL stand up and run Stefanski out of town with the quickness. I know that's right. Later for Dan Lanning. Facts. It said, is this a legal way to gamble in college in the NFL arena? It said by using the players on the field, certain ones targeted to get injured, like Travis Hunter. Yeah, it is. We talked about this earlier today and previously. Here's what I said. I'm gonna take it off the screen because I'm sitting down. Here's what I said. Gambling is benefiting from scripted and rigged games. Everybody's now the conversation, the narrative, fans, former players, people in the know are talking about the games are scripted. But because of racism, especially against black quarterbacks, the games are rigged. So when Shedeur got the Browns in the elimination game against the Titans, they were playing the 49ers, right? That wasn't the elimination game. They were in the hunt when they played the Raiders, I think. So if they had beat the 49ers and I think the Texans, they would have advanced in the playoffs and been in the hunt like the Ravens were. The fact that the Browns media didn't even talk about it tells you they didn't want to talk about it because it was Shedeur. They didn't talk about his robbery either when it happened and when they caught the guys. And that should tell you a lot right there. See, the things that they in unison talk about are pushed out. The things that they don't talk about in unison are also pushed out. That's how you know they know. That's why somebody was waiting in the bushes when Stefanski got fired, because they knew he was going to get fired. And I personally do not think it is a coincidence that exactly a week to the date, December 29th, they caught the third person. Stefanski got fired exactly a week later. And somebody was waiting in the bushes to catch it. And they didn't want to fire Stefanski. They was like, oh, he going to have his job next year. And they were serious. It was all of the sabotage talk, all of the pressure, all of the fans being upset, probably some of the sponsors too, because of how Shedeur was treated. You heard what Cam said? That was unacceptable. How Bud Light going to attach themselves to the Browns and keep Stefanski? They not. How is Huntington Bank going to keep their name up there? They not. So you supporting racism? You supporting abuse of black people? The Browns miscalculated because their fans are known as one of the most loyal fan bases. But apparently they draw the line at racism, and I'm happy to see it. They draw the line at abuse. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see it. It took a while, but I'm happy to see it because they ain't have to do nothing. Because when Deshaun Kaiser went 0-16, they did nothing. They showed up 64,000 at a time, 18 weeks and throughout the season. Yep. And I listened to the guy on the Raw Room talk about how loaded the team was with talent. Just like Colorado was loaded with talent last year. It wasn't the players. And Cleveland, was it the defense? No. They suppressed the defense. Look at what they did to Denzel Ward. They benched him. Why? Why Denzel? Because he supported Shedeur. And toward the end, he was like, no, Stefanski's a good coach. I'm like, here we go. I don't know if they got a paddle in that locker room or what. But the intimidation is crazy. And they took that to Atlanta. It said agreed. They are both natural. Yep. Shedeur is naturally photogenic, right? And people love Shedeur space, right? He's a natural with this content thing. He is. He's a natural. Like when he did, I think his best video, you know, I know we've been ranking him. Let me just say the video he did recently when they were in Miami with, is it Devon? They need to keep making videos together. Devon and Shiloh. Oh, those two are just, they could end up on a Netflix show with like 13 episodes of Devon and Shiloh running around the country doing things. Because if you saw that episode, that was a really good episode. It was naturally funny and entertaining and kept you. There was no dull moments. There was not one dull moment. And people pay good money for that. Shiloh could be a content king. Remember the guy, the black guy, I think he was Kobe or something like that. You remember the guy, I don't know, I think maybe he was African. And remember the pandemic, he would just be reacting to people silently and not saying nothing. And then he became this big time star. He just sold his main content company for $900 million. That could be Shiloh. When I said the Sanders need to do Deion's Playbook 2.0, they need to do it. I don't care what they call it, but they need to do it. They kind of are separately and everybody's following. But if they had a show together for 18 weeks, it's gold. That's why so many people following them separately. Even Snow, right? Said bye, Stefanski. Yep. It said all in the playbook. Yep. It said, Nola girl, did you know that Mark Cuban, the billionaire, put up money for the Indiana football program? No, I did not. And why am I not surprised? I heard that there are like private investors, private equity firms, maybe. I know it's private investors trying to buy college football teams. I saw a documentary on it. They want to buy the football team that belongs to a college. They want to separate the football team because it is the moneymaker, and they want to privatize it. Mark Cuban, that's the beginning of that. So Colorado's football program could be owned by a private entity. So they will pay the school $1 billion, and they themselves would make billions because, understand, they would run it like a business. I mean, honestly, Colorado already is what they would do. Imagine if Indiana did what Colorado did. If every school did what Colorado did, you know who they fans, you know who the players are. See, what Colorado did works for the players. It didn't work for the school. Coach Prime being there worked for the school. For people to go there and study whatever they study. Enrollment went up after Coach Prime came. Bucky ain't feel nothing yet. What Bucky did works for the Jordan Seatons, the Travis Hunters. So other schools now have like BYU, and they probably been had it, but they have like podcasts. But what Bucky does, nobody else has that. But I promise you, if a private investor was to buy the University of Alabama's football team and pay the University of Alabama, this is $1 billion a year. They probably make triple that because they're going to market it like a machine. It will be marketed like the NFL is marketed. So, yeah. Didn't know about Mark Cuban, but I know about the trend. I know about the trend. Everybody wants a star. I know about the trend with the private investors. I know about the trend with private equity firms investing in NFL teams, and they can buy up to a 10% stake. I think they're going to use a private equity firm investment, which gives them liquid cash to push out the black investors that they were working with, because there's an anti-black movement. And I personally don't have a problem with it. Let me tell you why. How can you be an investor of the Atlanta Falcons and be silent? How can you be an investor that's black of the Atlanta Falcons and you don't say nothing about Stefanski coming after he abused Shedeur, knowing y'all got Michael Penix Jr.? You have to still, your job is to still go out in the community and get people to buy into it. That's why you have power and influence, and you gave them $5 million so you can get you a check every year. Charles Woodson. I don't know how you do that. Andrew Berry. I don't know how you do that. Anybody over there. So when Shedeur said coach started warming up to him or whatever, I don't know who that was, right? I know they had that black guy that was over there. And I don't know if he was still over there. I never knew who it was. It was a black guy. I think he was kind of clean shaven. Was his name Deuce or something like that? I feel like somebody said Duke McAllister. Is that a person? It was some coach. Somebody was over there. And people saw him on camera and they were asking on X, who is that? They nosy. So they could move him out the way. And I don't know if he was still there. I don't know who that was. So I don't know who Shedeur was talking about, but he didn't say. It said, I can't stand the Atlanta. Oh, yeah, enemy number one. Enemy number one. It said CP got better and faster. Players from the transfer portal. I heard somebody ran a 4-4? It said 2-21 changed the culture. Absolutely. And that's what they don't want to happen in the NFL. So when Shedeur said he was going to change the culture, they was not on the same page. He was talking about football and taking a dormant program and turning it into a winner. They didn't even want that. And now you know why they didn't want Shedeur to come help the team win. We ain't trying to win. We're not trying to win. We have a script. We don't need you for that. We have a script around here. We pick and choose when we want to win. The fans just don't know. Shh, don't tell them. We need them to go buy tickets. No, we don't want you coming over here trying to win. Baker Mayfield tried to win. Baker Mayfield tried to win. Who kicks on your own 29? Not a field goal, but punt. Who does that? Or the opponents or somebody's. It said, just like a tree that's standing by the water, it said, we shall not be moved. I totally agree. It said 20 million followers and counting. And counting. It said, since they only made Shedeur stronger and more focused, it takes extreme pressure to form a diamond. It does, but the diamond, you have to see one thing about it. Shedeur is a human being. And that's what people have to understand. Yes, it takes pressure to form a diamond. You're right. But you, as a human, you're not a commodity. You're human, right? So you have to decompress and you have to heal before you go on to the next step. That's how you win. If you go through something and it's abusive, God gonna give you time to rest. He gonna give you time to get it together and get you going next. Because if not, you're gonna be ragged. You're gonna be run down. And the trauma is going to stay. And it's going to get worse. I'm pretty sure since God opened the door, he wants Shedeur to get better and stronger and not be deterred. But nobody said he wants Shedeur to be in Cleveland. We'll see. But understand this. He is a little different. He does need to heal. You can't leave something like that unscathed. It said, I think they were ignoring the issues. You think so? It said, good evening, good evening. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Mama Tia? Thank you. Welcome back. It says, as Coach Prime said, must be the money. I know that's right. It says Shedeur's right hand was supposed to be badly damaged. It said angels encamped around him. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree, B, because I don't know how he endured that. Lord, it said, I'm definitely boycotting the Super Bowl. Oh, absolutely. It said, let's see how much 12 can take. It said they tried to break him. It said it took its toll. He said he was dealing with spiritual warfare. Yeah, it took its toll. Just the fact that he left the game excited, the last game. Just the fact that he left that game excited. And when he got to the podium, something had transpired. And then Jerry Jeudy putting out what he said. Something happened. It said, yes, Shedeur was standoffish. It said, I can understand why he left and stayed off the radar. It said his new song speaks of him traveling and people know him everywhere he goes. So he's trying to figure out the old me. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing about it, right? When you're global, I mean, what they say, he was the most Googled person, the athlete, most Googled athlete. There's not a lot of places he can go. He can maybe go to Panama. I've been watching a lot of drone videos on Panama. It's a beautiful place. Did y'all know in Panama, the currency, the main currency is the US dollar? That's a Latin American country. It's beautiful. Don't be surprised if I pop up in Panama, not this year, but maybe next year. I'm like, okay, this is the gym. I'm like, Shedeur, just go to Panama for a while. They got an archipelago of islands. Just go over there. somewhere like the Maldives or something. That's what he really needs to do. He needs to go and unplug. Don't be by yourself. Lord, don't do that. Right? And I'm not saying a woman or whatever, like, just somebody that you need. If you get like your bodyguard, you need somebody to protect you, because you're obviously becoming a global icon, right? If you can't go to Paris or London and people know who you are over there, because Shiloh, every video he does, people know who he is. And the last one, it was hilarious. The guy was like, "Oh, this Shedeur's son." I'm like, "Oh, that's hilarious." And I was like, "Is this the same person that said that last time?" And they ran into each other again. I don't know. Y'all tell me if that's the same little guy. But that's funny when that happens. That's funny when it happens. So, he seemed like he on his way to being a global icon. Again, they are cultural icons. And we know Africa was up at 1:00, right? Look at Aisha. I'm just saying. So yeah, he was a little standoffish. Hey, Kia Life, how you doing? It said, I wish there would be an alternative to look at while the Super Bowl is going on. I already said I'm going to look at the day of the Super Bowl, see what else is on. I'm gonna recommend some shows for y'all. I'm gonna already tell you right now. If you have Netflix on the day of the Super Bowl, I want you to go watch The Gentleman on Netflix. It's a series. I think it's 8 episodes. Thank me later. Thank me later. The other one is Ambassador. I think that's the name of it. I'm gonna have to go look them all up. Thank me later. And then go watch The Rip. Watch that too. I think The Gentleman is better than The Rip. The Rip is good, but The Gentleman, that's what you watch on the Super Bowl. Put it on your calendar. Start before it come on, and you're gonna still be watching it when it go off, and you're gonna be hooked. Thank me later. Hey, Kimberly, welcome back. Good evening, good evening, good evening. It said the way you break it down about Shedeur and what he's been through for the last year makes me matter. Yeah, and and the thing about it is, see, we weren't there, right? And because we weren't there, we're not close to the situation, and people don't think about the effect that it has. A lot of people don't even know what happened. And Coach Prime told us we don't know, and I'm gonna need somebody to tell that story at some point when he has healed from it. And part of his healing is going to be his story. I don't want Shedeur to be one of these people who's just sitting and waiting for them to do right. Right? Like, I feel like either Deshaun has a non-disclosure or a gag order, or he just waiting on them to do right by him. Like, I'm going to just be quiet. I ain't going to say nothing. I'm going to just let all this happen because I might get to play. Don't do that. Don't do that. Baker could have done that. He knows for a fact they're coming for him. He already probably saw the headlines that they trying to replace him with a draft pick. He probably know that that's probably what they're going to do. And he already made a plan. And you see, he not just laying down, taking it. And while I understand Baker's white and they are black, it's still, you got to find some courage somewhere. You can't just keep pining away for something, waiting for it to change. It was 1932 when they banned all black people. And they seem like they're trying to get back to that. They can't ban you. But you see how they pushing you out? And it's a lot. And they're going to do it again next year. I think it was the late 1950s when things changed. What was Jim Brown? What year was that? Anybody know what year that was? And societal pressure is why they changed, which meant they didn't change because their hearts changed. They changed because people were looking at them as what? Some devils, racist. They like, we don't want to look like that. They don't care no more. They back to not caring. It took a long time. This shit ain't gonna change overnight without something blowing it up. And I think it's gonna go before it get better. Something's gonna have to happen. Maybe the pendulum gonna have to swing all the other way. But I'm pretty sure they done thought about that. So they done figured something out. Now they known to miscalculate. They have shown that they can miscalculate. And the people they tend to miscalculate are the fans. And that's where y'all need to go to Costco instead of where? So you know what you need to do. Right? It's going to get to a point where on these platforms, you're going to be able to say the B word. You're going to have to say reallocate. And that's what needs to happen first. Now, this Super Bowl, They don't care about us because it ain't Kendrick. It's Bad Bunny. So we would have to be globally unified. Now, I don't know if that's the case. But Atlanta better do its thing. I think everybody's waiting on Atlanta to do its thing. That's what I think. And if Atlanta does it, the rest gonna follow. Not everybody, but you know, if the Browns keep it up and the Falcons fans make it do what it do, good. It said, I will squeeze my dollar till that eagle grins while you practice anti-blackness and say you made amends. That's fact, because yeah, I'm out, bro. I was actually sitting up looking at the Atlanta Hawks roster. I was actually thinking, okay, what day is the Super Bowl? I'm gonna look and see what's going on because I'm going to do that. I don't care if I got to go skating. I don't care if I just go to dinner, go to the theater. I'm doing something. I already canceled these apps. I have no. And I think it was Gail that sent me the screenshot with the MVPs, and they were all white. And I was like, "This is what they want." I say, let them have it, because they keep underestimating the fans. Let them have it. They think they know everything, even though they keep miscalculating. You think you keep miscalculating, you would stop. It said, like you said, they're playing in our faces. That's all it is. And people need to admit that. Hello, everyone, late but ready for the tea. All right, Sharon, welcome. It said, excuse my French, but deep down, Stefanski knows he shouldn't have accepted the job. It shows on his face. So you saw his face too, Isaiah. I'm telling y'all, there's a video of him walking into, and maybe that's why Dan Lanning is in Atlanta trying to console Stefanski, because people hating on him like they was booing Dillon. Now he getting it. See how it travels? Right? And they put him in that situation. And number 4 still ain't been caught. And I'm just saying, you couldn't bring me. You couldn't bring me to the city where these dudes is from, and they dropping breadcrumbs that point back to me, and number 4 is still missing. Nah, I would instantly know you're setting me up. I would be like, oh, you set me up. You paid me all this money to come down here so I could get caught. Y'all know that case shouldn't be closed. You don't think it's strange that they closed it after they issued a warrant for number 4? Who does that? Nobody does that. And the feds just like to catch people off guard. So I think that might be what this is, but I don't know. But I do feel like somebody's getting arrested. I'm just gonna say that. And I think it was weird for Dillon for them to leave Ohio and go straight back to Oregon. That was just kind of weird. And then Dan Lanning in Atlanta. I'm like, so did they not know he was in Atlanta, or did he just get to Atlanta? That makes me think he had just gotten there. So I don't know. It's a lot happening behind the scenes that you don't know about. Somebody gonna get arrested, though. I'm just gonna tell you about that. Somebody getting arrested. It said, find a good movie on Netflix. I know, find something. Do something. Like I said, I might be at the skating rink. I've seen one Super Bowl, I was at the skating rink. It said, that's a good idea. I'm waiting on the Lincoln Lawyer. Yep, the Lincoln Lawyer is coming back. The Gentleman will have season 2, but watch season 1 that just came out. Bridgerton will be back, I think, at the end of this month. That's the whole series. Keep you busy right now. If you didn't watch none of them, go watch the first one. It's based on Queen Charlotte's life. She's black, half black. She's not even half black. They keep saying she had more blood. She black. So that's good. And if find something to binge watch. If you never watch Power, start with 1 through 6, and then just go watch Power Ghost, and then go watch Force. It's enough. It's enough out here. That's my point. It's a lot to do. You're gonna have to make the sacrifice. And for the podcasters that refuse to talk about it, understand this: you ain't gonna have nothing to talk about. Just keep on being quiet. You ain't gonna have nothing to talk about. This is gonna get worse, infinitely worse, before it went better. Understand this. This has already happened before. They just can't say we banning you because they know this 2026. But it's the same thing. It's like purge. You know what the purge is? That's what this is. They're purging themselves of black leadership, black quarterbacks, coaches, executives, etc. And Stefanski was hired to do it, and now they dispatched Zach Robinson to go over there with Baker. So we're going to have to keep an eye on Baker. I ain't worried about Baker, though, because I think he know. I think he know. And the Baker Bros page, or Baker Muse is a page. They said, don't poke the bear. I'm like, it's a little bit too late for that. I'm like, it's a little bit too late for that. I'm like, because he know what about it, the berry too. And now Hell, they done moved on to Nick Chubb, so I got to go see what happened with that. Because it's probably more the same. And now that you have all of these receivers giving up on their routes with Baker and other black quarterbacks, now you got to go back and look, especially when it comes to elimination games. And they might have asked Keon Coleman to do something. And he like, I ain't doing it. Because I don't know how they got Jerry Jr. to do it. I know, maybe he's telepathic or something, or maybe, like the skit, they was basically saying, don't be Superman. There's a way that was communicated. And it wasn't just Jerry Jr., it was communicated to. So other people knew what to do too. So what was the communication? Did they get a pigeon? I'm like, because they had to talk about it. How they going to do it in Atlanta? Stefanski going to have to get in there and get his people in there and get a system in place. And that means that this going to be new to all of the people that are already there, or are they already corrupt? And just going to further it. These are all things that you have to look at, because it is corruption. Crimes are happening here. And most corporations, and NFL's a corporation, they don't get away with this. Chick-fil-A will never get away with sabotaging the people that make the shakes because they black. They would never. Maybe at one store. But overall, and somebody going to tell it. Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody's going to tell it. Just like Baker. It said, you saw this Super Bowl coming from a mile away. 2025 with Hurts and Mahomes was like they were going to do anything to make sure 2026. Yeah, they pumped the brakes. It gives me Fred Flintstones breaking with his feet in the dirt as hard as possible. That I don't know why they keep coming to mind, but that's what it's like, reversing course. How did you go from, technically it was 4. It was supposed to be 4 black quarterbacks. They cheated Lamar. And the other 3 got in. So how do you go from 3 black quarterbacks and 1 white one, 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl for like the second time or the third time or something like that? The second time, the trend was changing. Just like it was trending with black quarterbacks becoming the majority, it was trending for 2 black quarterbacks to be in the Super Bowl multiple times. It was trending. It was getting ready to trend for 4 black quarterbacks to make the AFC. So get this right. This is exactly what 2025 was. 25 came in on the heels of technically 4 black quarterbacks in AFC and NFC. A repeat of 2 black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. And staring at 17 of 32, 18 with Milroe. Black quarterbacks. By the time the first round of the draft, the first night ended, they said, hell no. And everything you're seeing is to reverse course. It's anti-blackness. That's the only way they're going to be able to reverse course, is push out all the black people. Why they pushing out the black people? So they won't get no more black people. That's why they pushed out Mike Tomlin. But, I mean, honestly, they ain't have nothing to worry about, because who was out there? Everybody decided to go back to school. Another miscalculation. They didn't plan on that. See, they think everybody want to come for the money. I'm like, how could you not realize that? Because they arrogant. Mel Kiper Jr. said it. The NFL need to get over itself. They don't like Shedeur because he's rich. I'm like, y'all don't think that's what it is, do you? He said a lot of these kids coming out popular with fan bases and millions. They already devalued primetime JJ. He should be number 1. If all the quarterbacks going back to school, then it's going to be the receivers getting all the love. That's why the offensive tackles have an award now. That's why one offensive tackle just got a big contract, and he's black. Let's start with him, and then we're going to give it to everybody else. That's not black. They stay playing in your face. They stay trying to placate and hide. It amazes to me how they want to hide as bold as they are. Dan landed in Atlanta. And it's like Jordan Seaton just letting these people know, y'all can use me. That's basically what he did. Really? Atlanta right now? Really? That's all he did. Y'all could use me. And they probably did. We just don't know about it yet. I haven't heard anything else on that front yet. I don't know what's going on over there. Bye, Tony Grossi. Yeah, he got to go. He got to go. But everybody know the Browns media don't want to be held accountable. So I don't even know who listened to them. I don't listen to them. I saw that on X. And I was like, here we go with the haters. hating again. And that's why I'm like, Shedeur, stay out the country and work out over there. Just give yourself 30 days. Go to the Maldives, go somewhere. Just, you got to do that for yourself. You got to do it. So it was nice to see them in Paris. And hopefully he stay over there or somewhere. Just go travel the globe for a little while. Out of sight, out of mind, it lets the body heal, right? It lets the mind heal. It lets all of it heal. It said it's the cult. They tried to do harm to Deshaun, but it backfired. I totally agree. All the man did was ask for a trade. I'm like, and some women got found. I'm like, oh, okay. And then he got all his money back. I'm like, okay. And it's funny. You know what their motto is? You know how they feel? Well, just don't talk about the owners. You could talk about Stefanski. Don't be surprised if he blow y'all up. He was already talking about scripts. And everybody out here talking about scripts now. So I think he was already trying to tell. And they like, well, just send him to Atlanta and you get rid of him. Don't be surprised. But you didn't have to do Atlanta like that. You could have did that in Cleveland and sent Shedeur somewhere else. Tell me I'm wrong. All would have been well. You could have just traded Shedeur and kept Stefanski because they wanted to keep Stefanski. It shows you how intent they are with destroying Shedeur. Now coaches don't even want the job. Another coach canceled on the interviews with the Browns. Let me check their website right fast. It's probably going to be Schwartz. It's probably going to be him. Head coach tracker. Let's see. Who we got? The Browns are currently conducting second round interviews. Ty Munkin completed his second interview. That's the dude that set up Lamar Jackson. Why do they want to interview him? You see, they hell bent on doing damage to Shedeur. And season 2, they already started. This and Tony Grossi and all this other foolishness. Jim Schwartz completed his second interview January 19th. Grant Udinski is they trying to make him a head coach. This is his first year being an offensive coordinator with the Jags. I think he might have been one of the people that canceled. He didn't do his second interview yet. Jesse Minter, Chargers defensive coordinator, interviewed January 16th. Nate Shilhays, January 16th. This is a lot of younger people. Let me let y'all see this. This is a lot of younger people. Munkin has to be Haslam's choice because that don't make no sense. I don't think Barry would have chose him. I think Barry chose these younger guys. Because I heard Barry say there's a lot of coaches out there. Like, we don't want to recycle no people. So I think right here, Ty Munkin, he's had his second. I think Haslam is pushing for this guy because of what he did with Lamar. Try to derail him and did. Jim Schwartz, Stefanski hired this guy, so I'm not keen on him. And I watched him suppress the defense, or he allowed it to happen. So no. Grant Udinski, I don't even know if he wants the job, but he will be a first-year head coach. And if they hire him, it's to say, yeah, we needed a year to get it together. I feel like they just looking for a way to destroy Shedeur and not win again and blame somebody. Jesse Minter, Chargers defensive coordinator, another younger guy, never been a head coach. Nate Shilhays, Rams pass game coordinator, never been a head coach, I don't believe. Younger guy. Mike McDaniel, he withdrew. Mike McDaniel withdrew. He didn't want to do it no more, and he got hired somewhere else as a offensive coordinator or something for the Chargers. And Aiden Durd, Seahawks defensive coordinator, interviewed January 9th, hadn't had a second interview yet. I don't think he's going to be in there. Dan Pitcher, Bengals offensive coordinator. Why would you hire anybody from the Bengals? Tommy Reese, gone. So see the people that interviewed a long time ago and haven't come back, I don't think they're in it. McDaniel was gone. Never heard anything about Nate. Jesse Minter should have had his second interview. Udinski, somebody withdrew. It might have been him. These two right here had their second on 19 and 20. See, these two are problematic. One, Stefanski hired, the other one failed Lamar, derailed Lamar. This is Haslam. I know that this is Haslam because I think all of these other people, except for Tommy Reese or Andrew Berry, if I had to guess. Now, Udinski, I could see why they liked him. What did I tell y'all about these people with these last names? With this Polish origin or Slavic is the term that they use. Eastern European. Let's just go with that. Eastern European. There's something there. Did y'all see what happened to the black tennis player? Naomi Osaka. Did y'all see what happened to her? Did you see the tennis player she was playing against? I think she was Eastern European. How she was doing the same thing that the other tennis player, who I think was Eastern European, did, the other black girl. You see how they feel like it's okay to be disrespectful to black people? There's something there. There's something there. Let's see which coaches. Which coaches withdrew from the Browns interviews? Browns head coach interviews. Let's see. Jim Schwartz. Wait, let's see. The Cleveland Browns are conducting second interviews with several coaches for their head coaching vacancy, focusing on internal defensive coordinator Schwartz, Monken, yada, yada, yada. With McDaniel withdrew while also exploring other candidates like Sean McDermott, but I didn't see him on the list. That's the guy from the Bills. The candidates represent a mix of established coordinators, yada, yada, yada. Who withdrew? Somebody withdrew. That's late 2025. McDaniel withdrew. Somebody withdrew, and I don't look at somebody withdrew today. I don't know who that was. It looked like Udinski would have had on, but I don't know. The Tommy Reese is gone. So they updated what Tommy Reese. Somebody withdrew. I just don't know who it is. Jim Schwartz and Todd Munkins are very much still in the mix. That was on the 22nd, which is yesterday. Somebody I thought withdrew today. I just don't know who it was. I have to find out later. Let's see if I look at the news. Buccaneers finding offensive coordinator. Yeah, because they got, you know who. Ravens hired Jesse Minter. That's who withdrew. So Ravens hired the Jesse Minter as the head coach. So they said Lamar Jackson wanted to hire the guy that left the Washington Commanders. Jada Daniels, offensive coordinator, got pushed out or something like that. I read today that Lamar Jackson wanted to get him, so they didn't even go with it. Was Lamar Jackson and the rest of the offensive players wanted to get him. They said screw them and got Jesse Minter. I mean, that says a lot, right? If the whole offense, the entire offense want to get one guy and y'all get somebody else, they must have plans. Maybe that whole Vegas thing is real. We'll have to see. They're going to shake something up, though. They're going to shake something up. He needs people to speak life into him. I totally agree. We're talking about Shedeur. It said nephew Shedeur Sanders have a huge support system like his dad Sanders. But even Shedeur said it. You need more than family. He actually said it out of his own mouth. He said, yeah, family's good. That's great, but you need more than family. You're right. You do. First, you got to unplug and need yourself, but you also need other people, right? And he said that himself. So he's been affected. He gonna have to take some time and work through it. And I hope he, talk to a therapist. I know y'all don't want it to be the lady, but hell, at least, I mean, God did put her over there. It's a phone call. And sometimes that's good. And it might be happening. I'm not saying it's not, but he needs somebody to talk to. And he said it yourself. It can't just be your family. It said, I love the joy that was on the two brothers' faces at the Amiri Fashion Show. I saw it on. Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. That's facts. Reach the people media. It said, failure to plan is planning to fail. That's why I know that's right. It said, Shedeur's name means the light of Almighty. Oh, okay. I like that. He's fighting against the enemy, and the man has no power against his power. Yeah. It's tough. Stress is racism, right? That's what people don't understand. Miss Pamela, it said check out His and Hers on Netflix. Okay. Oh, that's the movie with Tessa Thompson. I didn't make it through that one. I heard it was good though. My God moves. Yep. They know what exercise drills and training regimens weaken ligaments. It said, and they got it down to a science where they can cause an injury to whatever ligament they want. Facts. Look at Michael Penix Jr. They know if you were already vulnerable with the ACL area and he has two, come on now. And you fire your wide receiver coach because wide receivers are giving up on their routes. You just made the black wide receiver coach a scapegoat. See, they was already pushing out black people before they even fired the head coach and the GM. And you know why they went to get Stefanski? because it was a problem in the locker room. Don't forget, he successfully divided that locker room too. Can you imagine wanting to invite chaos into your home? Yep. He successfully divided that locker room and intimidated people and got Jerry Jeudy and 68 and 72 and everybody else. About 11 people on offense. When you start counting and naming people, they didn't all play at the same time, but by the end of the games, they did. He had successfully moved everybody else out the way. That's why they hired him. That's why they gave him a promotion, because they want him to come to Atlanta and do the same thing. And then they made Carson Schlesinger the hero of the defense and Myles Garrett an afterthought, because that's the plan. That's the plan. Let's just say that's the plan. I mean, I think Carson Schlesinger is good, but Myles Garrett is the leader of the team, and he was, and they pulled him in to be when Shedeur got there because they didn't want it to be Shedeur. But when he supported Shedeur, they were like, "Oh, okay," and they started acting funny. It said that Shedeur song, Sabotage, the lyrics tell you about his experience in Cleveland. It says Stefanski, Shedeur near broke this young king. And then they gave Stefanski a second chance. Yeah. And that was premeditated. All of it. Everything we've talked about has been premeditated. What's the name of the song? Sabotage by Shedeur Sanders. Is that who the song is by? I don't see a song. Oh no, I don't see I don't see that. I don't know. I don't see that. When I thought maybe it was out, but I haven't heard it. So I don't know much about it. I don't know much about it at all. It said there's a difference between doing your job and doing what I tell you to do. Facts. Don't forget about Jerry Rice's son. I didn't. Let me see where he is. I didn't. I said, where did he end up? Because remember, the Browns brought him in right before the trade deadline for nothing, because they needed a receiver. They could have got him instead of Jerry Jeudy. But what Tommy Reese said, we want to feature Jerry Jeudy. See, Tommy Reese was auditioning. He was letting people know, I'm down. Somebody needs to leak their text messages, their conversations, like they did Donald Sterling. People going to be like, I'm shocked. I'm like, I'm not. I'm pretty sure it's pretty bad. Where was his name? Brendan Rice. Brendan Rice. Let's see where he is. He is a wide receiver for the Vegas Raiders practice squad. Yeah, they keep playing in his face too. As of 2025, having previously spent time with the Chargers, the Patriots, the Seahawks practice squad, after being a 7th round pick in 2024 from USC. See, they already did it to his son. Remember, we saw Brendan Rice. It said he has great route. He's known for his size, 6'3", and route running ability. Hoping to establish his own NFL career after playing sparingly as a rookie and making the practice squad rounds in 2025. So do you see now? You got to broaden that lens. I said it this year. The black legends, all their sons got done dirty. Every last one. That's the most they could do is make the practice squad. So ain't none of them good. That's what you're trying to tell me. Not none of them. We know Shedeur good, and they were trying to push him to the 7th round of undrafted free agent. Yep. You see? Anti-blackness. Just anti-blackness. All right, I guess we're going to get out of here. It said DC get a new stadium too. Where is it going to be? He can't internalize all of that. It said those are demons and he belongs to the Lord. Yeah, there will always be attacks. Yeah, but I hate to tell you, but people do internalize racism before they even realize what it is. And one of the things I heard Shedeur say is, I think it was at the draft. If you go back and look at the draft video when they were outside, they were talking about, I think off the camera, they might have been talking about racism. And I felt like they were saying that Coach Prime is slow to admit that that's what it is. So that's got to be a tough position to be in when you know that that's what it is, but the one that's guiding you doesn't think that that's what it is, because 9 times out of 10, you could look at that situation and think, well, maybe if I knew that that's what it was, maybe I wouldn't be in this situation. And a lot of people said they blame Coach Prime because they should have told Shedeur how to move. I felt like, how you going to blame Shedeur or Coach Prime And you can't even say racism. You want to say how to move. You can't even say out loud yourself it's racist. You want him to submit to what the hell you went to Canada to escape. That's cowardly. That's cowardly. And the fact that they lured these people in intentionally before in the Super Bowl, did they know they was being stabbed in the back? No. The only clue came when Roger Goodell said, what? I'm worried about your pops. Was he psychic? Or was there something untoward about that whole situation? I told you, they told me I had 5 tumors and I don't have one. They somehow thought he wasn't coming back. They gave Livingston that contract before that happened. Roger Goodell talking about, I'm worried about your pops. I mean, so you was either telling us y'all was going to stab him in the back and that's what you meant, or did you know he was going to go to the doctor and they was going to find something? What is it? And all of it's related. What is it? Maybe they was supposed to find something and he was supposed to just go to the doctor every week, which would take him away from the program. Kind of like Kyron Lacey. The truth about that gonna come out. Truth about that gonna come out. See how we looking back in the look back machine at Baker Mayfield? Now Nick Chubb. The truth about that will come out. The reason why it's not is because all the people that had something to do with it all working together. The truth about that gonna come out. That somebody thought it would be a good idea to let him believe he guilty and go through a very public, private grand jury process 2 weeks before the draft. But he didn't make it. From what I see about what they did with Coach Prime, and Roger Goodell came out beforehand and said, I'm worried about your pops. There was something that he knew. And what was it? Can't underestimate it. Can't overlook it. Is he psychic? Hell no. Was he worried about it because they're going to stab him in the back? I don't know, but the timing was convenient, wasn't it? Just like the timing of Kyron Lacey situation, Isaiah Bond's situation, Quinshon Judkins situation. Every last one of those guys, except for Kyron Lacey because he didn't make it, but including Shedeur, got devalued and was in Cleveland. And something makes me think that if he was alive, he was going to end up there too. I try to look to see what team was heavily recruiting him. You think it's a coincidence his head coach got fired and the president of the university? The DA went to law school at LSU. All these people know each other. And people were complaining about how the head coach acted. Very suspicious. And now he gone. Just like Kevin Stefanski. Let's see where the head coach from LSU show up at. Let's see. It said the minute somebody goes down for this, then everybody will start scrambling for cover. It said it's going to take something. Somebody going to jail. Somebody getting arrested. I'm telling you that right now. I'm like, because you kind of could see that Stefanski has been put in a very risky situation. And I think he know. Not that. Because I'm sure it's people in his ear. And I think that's why Dan Lanning was there. Ain't no way in hell you can send me to Atlanta after what the hell just happened. And they looking for number 4. I would know you're setting me up. I'm like, you know, them people not gonna like me, right? And then it's gonna be people, don't worry about that. You can do this, you can do that. I'm like, I think offloaded. I personally think he was offloaded. You see, these owners are incestuously close. So they hopes they don't get one of them don't stab the other one in the back. But you ain't gonna tell me all 32 of them like each other. That's where something need to crack. One of them need to be, you should have did this to me. But since they all get that $452 million check, that's why they incestuously close. Don't do nothing to rock the boat so we can get the check. That's where the fish of the crack needs to happen at that level. Somebody need to be like, you know what? Screw y'all. Yeah. That's probably why there are no black owners. Because how can you lead an anti-black movement and purge black people with a black owner? So, all right, we're going to get ourselves out of here. This was really good. A lot happening. Again, now we got to watch Baker because they done sent Jethro over there. They done sent Zach Robinson over there to disrupt him, but they was already trying to push him out again. Baker seems to be pretty tough. Let's see what happened there. Again, a winning quarterback, just like he was in Cleveland. So they running the same thing back on him in a different organization, as if to say, oh, you thought you got away? I'm going to show you. See, that's always what they try to prove. I'm going to show you. That's revenge. That's retaliation. So let's just hope the young Shedeur and Shiloh.
He hates to say it, but everything he try to wear, our dad already did. So he think he be doing his own thing. But where do you think you get your swag from?
I think it's just from like inspiration, different fashion, different designers, a lot of different things.
Inspiration from what?
From you, brother. From you.
From you. So, you know, Shedeur is naturally photogenic. They both are. This is greatness undefeated. You know, I'm happy to see them there. You know, but those two, they are pressure. They are pressure. And to see them thriving despite the NFL is why I said it's greatness undefeated, and they need to just keep going. And you know they will. And I'm so happy and grateful they got this opportunity, because why? It proves that the NFL is not the end of it all. It's not the only thing. It should not be your only thing. Don't give in to that. In fact, that's an archaic way of thinking. And you have to ask yourself, why is it they want it to be your only thing? Why do they want to control you? Why, if you're black, do they want to force you into submission? Why, if you're white, they want to pigeon you or hold you, you know, want to push out a black person for you? It's not about you. It's about anti-blackness. And now everybody should be on the same page, or when everybody else catch up to us, that they need to move accordingly, knowing what it is. And I'm not kidding. I said 7 years now, but we already, this is year one. This is officially, 2025 was year one. People just didn't know what was going on in 2025. But thanks to the revelation in 2026, you know exactly what it is. And the revelation is not just Baker Mayfield. It's the pushing out, the purge of the black talent, the black quarterbacks. You want to keep Jerry Jeudy, but you want to get rid of Shedeur. You want to keep Dylan Gabriel, but Shedeur has to prove something. Dylan Gabriel had to prove nothing. Jerry Jeudy failed Shedeur, but let's keep him engaged. Receivers giving up on their routes. All of it is the revelation, and we just getting started. It's still January. This could happen every month for an entire year. And in 2027, there's nothing. So that's it. We still got these guys. We're going to look back in the Wayback Machine at some point, but we already have a little ways to look back. We should always remember them as they are greatness. Keep them in our forefront of our minds, because what both of them have been through is not easy. Both of them have been set up differently, but the same, and for the same reason, anti-blackness. That's the root of it. Your family is a cultural icons. We don't want that. That's on the surface. The root of it is anti-blackness, because if they were white, Like the Kelsey brothers, they would want it. The Mannings, they would want it. This is anti-blackness. And hopefully Coach Prime recognizes that. I heard them say, they say that's the last thing that he think. Hopefully he passed that. Because if not, it's going to get painful for him. Hopefully Shiloh got it now. I'm pretty sure they made sure he got it. They wanted him to know. All right, so I'm going to get myself out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow. It's Friday. So when I finish this podcast, I'm going to schedule the other one for members at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to have our first call-in show. I think I got it. If not, we'll just test it out and see what happens because it's a members live stream. So look forward to that. It's audio only. So come with your best convo tomorrow. There's always some stuff y'all want to bring up. So I'm going to figure out how to do it, like in terms of I'm going to let everybody talk for 2 minutes or something like that. I have to figure it out and come up with some rules because we still got YouTube copyright we got to deal with. So look forward to that. That's something to look forward to for members tomorrow. We'll have our first call-in show, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for members. Live stream TGI F members only Friday. I'm so excited. It's Friday. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports.